on today's episode of Timeless Wisdom.
Not only is the issue, this is the Ultimate Issues Hour, not only does the issue, and I'm Dennis Prager, thank you for being with me, not only does the issue, take three, not only does the, how else can I interrupt myself? It's a little sad when you're not interrupted by others but by yourself.
That's coming up on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager.
Is losing weight getting harder as you get older? It's not your fault. You're eating better, you're moving more, but your body isn't responding anymore. At PhD Weight Loss, they help people identify what's actually blocking fat loss and help increase your lifespan. If you want to understand why your body isn't cooperating, call PhD Weight Loss now and book your consultation at 864-644-1900. Mention Dennis Prager and you get 2 weeks free in the program, and they'll pay for your food. That's a $1,500 value absolutely free. Call 864-644-1900.
Welcome to Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. Hear thousands of hours of Dennis's lectures, courses, and classic radio programs. And to purchase Dennis Prager's Rational Bibles, go to DennisPrager.com.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Where was God? Isn't God supposed to be good? Isn't he supposed to love us? And does God want us to suffer?
10 years, you're not finished yet? Morty! Why did you do this to me?
Who are you?
Bruce, I'm God.
Bingo! Yahtzee! Is that your final answer? Our survey says God! Bing, 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 bing. Well, it was nice to meet you, God. Thank you for the Grand Canyon, and good luck with the apocalypse.
And welcome, everybody. This is Dennis Prager, the Ultimate Issues Hour. The hour each week I devote at this time to some great issue of life, and I am going to bring to you an issue today that explains a great deal about what is happening in society. And the topic for today is authority. Authority. The breakdown of authority, you know, that's the issue. If you want, in a nutshell, what is ailing America, it is the breakdown of authority. Many of you have a big kick out of my interview with my father on his birthday, and I've asked him on a number of occasions on his birthday, and he's now 89 years old, so he's seen a lot of life. And I asked him, what is the greatest difference? In fact, one of you asked him, what is the greatest difference between the America you grew up with and America today? And he said, authority. The breakdown of authority. And he's right. Think about it, folks. Think about every area of life outside of government, interestingly. And we'll get to that in a moment. But every area of life, authority has broken down. The authority of parents, the authority of teachers, the authority of God, the authority of religion, the authority of text. All of them have been attacked and undermined. You can now, when I think about the ability of a child to curse a teacher, I hear that in a sort of disbelief. There are kids who get up and curse teachers. I went to a school where you stood when the principal walked in. You actually stood up. And I didn't have any particular fondness or respect for this principal, but that was the principal, and you stood up. End of issue. Teachers called by their first name. The moment teachers were called by their first name, authority began to be chiseled. There is a huge difference between, or conflict between, I should say, authority and equality. Because someone who is equal to you cannot have authority over you. So the rampant egalitarianism of our society has removed any concept of authority. If the teacher is my equal, dresses like me, talks like me, I call by her first name, she calls me or he calls me by his or her first name, then we're all equals. And that is, by the way, that is what has happened. The age of stupidity, as I call it, ushered in by the baby boomer generation, ushered in this age wherein kids were said to know as much as adults. The vote was changed from 21 to 18, even though you and I know that the average 18-year-old doesn't know anything about how society should be governed. In fact, there are people in the California legislature who would like to extend the age to 15. By golly, why not 11? The notion of authority has been attacked the most severely of all the notions, and it causes a terrible breakdown in society. For whatever reason, people don't like it, although, ironically, they're very happy with it in form of the government. The government's authority is okay, but no other authority is okay. I gave you the example of teachers. You call a teacher by his or her first name. Kids can say anything they want. Teachers have lost their authority in the classroom. And next, let's go to parents. Parents, too, have lost their authority in our culture. Look at the movies and the way parents are so often depicted in these films as boobs, as dummies, as the kid is the wise one. By the way, I must tell you, every movie I see where little kids utter these brilliant phrases, they're witty and so on, I immediately am turned off to that film. There's no sense of reality to it, and it is a way of saying kids are wiser than parents. They're not. They're not. Overwhelmingly, they are not. And parents themselves have too often colluded in this, in allowing their authority to break down, with society helping them all along the way. Other adults, other adults' authority? Adults as authority figures? Every adult is known by their first name. That was an immediate drop in authority. Who are you to tell me what to do? That notion to another adult. You're not my parent. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what to do? And so other parents certainly have lost their authority. So parents and teachers. God has lost authority. God has lost authority in two ways. One, there are many, many more secular people. And for many people, God is not an authority figure. God's a lover. God is love. A lot of religious people say that. Well, then where's the authority? Love is not authority. Love is love. God is your pal. God is the guy. God is, who you have a relationship with, which is fine. That's fine. I'm not against a relationship with God. But the rhetoric of our time, even in the religious world, is undermining of divine authority. Religion is presented today, or God is presented as a sort of a pal in heaven. My pal in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And so pal in heaven doesn't make demands. Religion is a place to make you comfortable. Church, synagogue is a place to make you comfortable. It's not a place to hear about the authority of this is right and this is wrong. I'll never forget one clergyman spoke about God not being judgmental many years ago in a newspaper column that I had read. God is not judgmental. God doesn't make moral judgments. It was one of the great moments of my life that this and it was a woman clergyman, and I say that because it's not odd. Women are more of the compassion variety of the religion should be comforting and healing, that rhetoric than the masculine rhetoric of this is right and this is wrong. That's masculine rhetoric. in the feminization of society and religion that has taken place, masculine rhetoric of right and wrong has been replaced with, how do you feel about it? I'm not comfortable with it. So all authority has broken down except for government. And by the way, you must know this. Since without authority there is utter chaos, the human being needs authority. The more you break down parental, teacher, and religious authority, the more strong you build up, the more strongly you build up government authority. You must know that this is rarely pointed out. Government increases in its domination of societal life as the other elements decrease their power. The less power that God, religion, and parents have, the more power the government will have. Lines are full already, and I haven't even announced the number. I guess a lot of you have either questions or thoughts on this. This is a very big, ultimate issue, the question of authority. 1-8-PRAGER-776, in case you can get in, 1-8-PRAGER-776. A number of years ago, I wrote a column for the Los Angeles Times on this subject, that it is not belief in God that divides people's values. It is whether or not they believe in a divine text. Jews and Christians who believe in a divine text have far more in common than Jews who believe in a divine text have with Jews who don't believe in a divine text, or Christians who believe in a divine text have with Christians who don't believe in a divine text. Because only divine texts have authority. Man-made texts have no authority. Take your calls and much more to offer you on this edition of the Ultimate Issues Hour on the Dennis Prager Show.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Is losing weight getting harder as you get older? It's not your fault. You're eating better, you're moving more, but your body isn't responding anymore. At PhD Weight Loss, they help people identify what's actually blocking fat loss and help increase your lifespan. If you want to understand why your body isn't cooperating, call PhD Weight Loss now and book your consultation at 864-644-1900. Mention Dennis Prager and you get 2 weeks free in the program, and they'll pay for your food. That's a $1,500 value absolutely free. Call 864-644-1900.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
You're listening to the Dennis Prager Show, and every week at this hour, I have the Ultimate Issues Hour. An hour on some great issue of life, and this one is on authority. The breakdown of authority is the breakdown of society, and that is what we are seeing in America. Parental authority, teachers' authority, police authority, I didn't mention that one earlier. The contempt with which police are held in many places. They should be feared police. Sorry, folks, they should be feared. By the way, so should parents in a certain way when you're young. It's good for a kid to say, if I did that, my father would kill me, or my mother would kill me. I want kids to say that. They need it terribly. Now, if that's the only emotion a kid has to a parent, that's not good, but we've gone way, 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 way overboard in the other direction. Parental, teacher, police, where is my list here? What else did I say? Of course, and God and religion and text. So and the reason, and that's the key here, what is the reason? Because people don't like to have any authority. The human being rebels against authority. We want to do what we want to do. Like the Swedish woman that I interviewed and played you the interview. I played it for you. You believe in any religion? No. You believe in God? No. So where do you get your notions of right and wrong? My heart. That's it. Her authority is her heart. It doesn't work, folks. It doesn't work. Let's go to your calls here. And we begin in Evergreen, Colorado, and Yvette. Yvette, Dennis Prager, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Hi.
I was calling about your authority issue. We have 2 children who we have raised to address adults as Mr. or Mrs. Many times the adults will respond by saying, "Oh, no, please have your child call me Kathy or Tom."
I know.
And
there's nothing you can do then, really.
Oh, no, actually, we've come up with an answer because we now have a...
what is your answer? I'm very curious.
We say to them, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful to you, but we are trying to teach our children that time has not made them equal to you, and that your life experiences are valuable and therefore worthy of respect."
Do you actually say that to these people?
Oh, yes.
Do they stay friends?
Oh, yes. And, you know, it's funny because many other parents that we spend time with also share these views. But very often we'll run into people who either I work with or my husband works with, or even people who don't have kids, have never really given much thought to these issues. And the comment that we often hear from them is, "Oh, it makes me feel old." And I say, you know,
that's
if you're 32 years old, you're old.
That's right. Exactly.
You're older than my 9-year-old.
Yes, I'll never forget. Thank you. Well said, Yvette. Your kids are lucky. I wrote this up actually about 20 years ago. Who was the? It was a great. What was the Boston Celtics star? Larry Bird. Larry Bird. It was by just sheer coincidence. I just remember this. Larry Bird mentioned once when he was still a player that some kid said "Mister" to him. And he felt so odd that a child would say "Mister" because it meant he was older and so on. My generation has not wanted to grow up. I'm not picking on Larry Bird, who supposedly a terrific guy in many ways, but or a terrific guy, period. But I just happened to remember that particular quote that I cited. 1-8-Prager 776, 1-8-PRAGER 776. My friends. I say this about many of these ultimate issue subjects. There is none more important. There may be some that are as important, but there is none that are more important than the question of authority. I want you to ask about your own life. What has authority over you? What do you recognize? Do you have a religion that has authority over you? Do you have a God that does? Do you have a teacher that does? Do you have a parent who does? Or is it only the government? Is that it? 1-8-PRAGER 776. Ron in Los Angeles. Dennis Prager, hi.
Hi, Dennis. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Dennis, when I was many years ago as a young professional CPA, I was given a huge amount of responsibility. But because I was not an owner in the company, I was not given the corresponding authority. And I realized that to have responsibility without authority is really, really tough. And I think that directly applies to the issues you're speaking of today.
How so?
Well, I think parents, teachers have the responsibility, but like you say, their authority has been taken away.
Oh, it doesn't work. You mean the responsibility can't be lived out if you don't have... Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
The teacher can't
have responsibility without the corresponding authority.
Yes, well said, Ron. That's exactly right. A teacher can't do a job without authority. Nobody, or a parent can't do his job or her job without authority. But the age of egalitarianism and the age of stupidity have coincided to make what I am talking about possible, that there is no more authority. And frankly, I much rather have people have multiple authorities than just the government. It's very scary to me that the government has all the authority in a human's life. I wish that there was. I wish that there had been a more religious authority in Nazi Germany. Might not have had the catastrophes of World War II and the Holocaust. Okay, let's go to Sarasota, Florida, and Lyle. Hello, Lyle. Dennis Prager.
Hi, Mr. Prager. Question that I have, I was brought up in a very strict household. I don't know if you're familiar with the Mennonite background or not.
Yes, yes, I am.
You know, father was the law, mother was second in command. But my mom also taught us to ask questions, to question authority.
Right.
Not to follow blindly. What age do you say, like as my wife and I are planning on starting a family, what age do you start telling your child it's okay to question authority? Still give the respect, but inquire.
Yes. Well, before I answer you, I am very curious. Do you like the type of adult you have become?
Yes, I think that I'm a well-rounded adult.
Right.
I don't follow blindly.
No. That wasn't my question at all. No. I just want to know. See, a lot of people who were raised in strict homes may have had various painful experiences, but they end up often liking the way they turned out.
Yes, I think that I've become a mature adult. I'm happy with the way that I was.
Okay, good. No, I just wanted to note. I mean, it may have been too strict for my taste, but you came out all right. Anyway, the answer to me is questioning is not a problem. Defying is a problem.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what I think a lot of people have confused on both sides of the issue. I take my lead from the Bible. Abraham challenged God, but he didn't defy him. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to the Dennis Prager Show.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Is losing weight getting harder as you get older? It's not your fault. You're eating better, you're moving more, but your body isn't responding anymore. At PhD Weight Loss, they help people identify what's actually blocking fat loss and help increase your lifespan. If you want to understand why your body isn't cooperating, call PhD Weight Loss now and book your consultation at 864-644-1900. Mention Dennis Prager and you get 2 weeks free in the program, and they'll pay for your food. That's a $1,500 value absolutely free. Call 864-644-1900.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
Hi, everybody. This is the Ultimate Issues Hour on the Dennis Prager Show. And it is an hour each week devoted to some great issue of life. Authority is the issue. And you can almost define the problems of society today by the breakdown of all authority except government. Teachers' authority, parents' authority, God's authority, religion's authority, Scripture's authority, police authority, they have all been undermined systematically. And the reason for it is to A, increase governmental authority, and B, to enable one to have to listen to no one but one's own self. That is the general human desire. I want to be accountable to nobody, just my own heart. All right, let's take some more of your calls. 1-8-PRAGER-776 and Ethan in Prosper, Texas. Hi, Ethan. Dennis Prager.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
I wanted to talk from the perspective of a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I've moved to Texas, but I'm a transplant from L.A., where I taught in several private schools in West Los Angeles. And of all the private schools that I taught at, one of them did have the students address their teachers by their first name. And I found that the students' respect for authority was by far the lowest in that school.
It's inconceivable otherwise. Can you imagine in the military, instead of saying a general, you said Fred?
Well, and it's just such a basic opportunity to give children a chance to respect authority by using a title. And you had a caller earlier that was talking about how she wants her children to call other adults by surnames outside of school, and we don't do that. But we do require our children to use a title. So our neighbors are Miss Audra and Mr. Greg and Mr. Chris and Miss Ashley.
Well, what do you mean you don't? So you do require it?
We require that they use a title. We don't require them to use the surname. The important thing.
I see. So it'd be like Dr. Bob?
Right. Well, no. When they go to the doctor, they I'm just talking about like neighbors.
So if the neighbor is a doctor, it's Dr. Bob.
Right.
I understand. Okay, that's a big help anyway. That's a big help. I'll tell you what else has even been dropped. Uncle and aunt. That's you call your uncle and aunt by their first name and say instead of Uncle Jim, it's just Jim. I never called any of my uncles or aunts anything but Uncle this or Aunt that. Never. Maybe later in life. And even then, for the most part, I would give them the honorific of Uncle Murray. But not anymore, because that separates. It's not equal. The moment I give you a title, I'm no longer your equal. You're my aunt or you're my uncle. This, if I had to give one show to summarize the great divide in America, it's between those who wish to abolish all of these authority labels and all of these authority sources of authority, and those who want to retain them. Yep, this is the big one. This is the big one of the ultimate issues to understand what's happening, and that's part of the hatred against religion. See, what is it about conservative religion that divides it from liberal religion? I'll tell you the answer is authority. Liberal religion is of the heart. Conservative religion is of authority. There's divine authority, whether you agree or not, and I don't always agree even. But still, at least there is the concept, this is a sin, this is not a sin. This is right, this is wrong. God said do this, God said don't do that. People loathe that. Instead, it's all in your heart, it's what you feel is right, and then you apply it to the religion, and everybody's happy. Authority has been broken down. Now, this isn't to say that all authority is good, my friends. Of course not. There have been terrible authorities, terrible. Or authority has been used terribly. There are parents who abuse their children. There have and are religious teachings that inflict terrible cruelty. Yes, these are true. But the answer to bad authority is good authority, not no authority. But if you went to graduate school, that may have been a little too profound. We'll return in a moment. 1-8-PRAGER-776, The Dennis Prager Show, the Ultimate Issues Hour.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Is losing weight getting harder as you get older? It's not your fault. You're eating better, you're moving more, but your body isn't responding anymore. At PhD Weight Loss, they help people identify what's actually blocking fat loss and help increase your lifespan. If you want to understand why your body isn't cooperating, call PhD Weight Loss now and book your consultation at 864-644-1900. Mention Dennis Prager and you get 2 weeks free in the program, and they'll pay for your food. That's a $1,500 value absolutely free. Call 864-644-1900.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
Doesn't get more important than this. I know I say that often, and I always mean it. Not only is the issue, this is the Ultimate Issues Hour, not only does the issue, and I'm Dennis Prager, thank you for being with me, not only does the issue, take 3. Not only does the, how else can I interrupt myself? It's a little sad when you're not interrupted by others but by yourself. Who do you get annoyed at? Not only does the issue of authority explain how much is gone awry in our society, it also explains, and this is maybe worth doing a happiness hour on, because if I am convinced if you didn't grow up with authority, you're not going to be happy. Life will be chaotic. See, because the heart is a lousy guide, Somebody had to be an authority in your life, a teacher, if not a parent, a clergyman, if not a teacher, somebody, God, if not any of them. But you need some authority, or you are going to go crazy. And we have broken them all down here, folks, all down. And the notion of question authority is fine, but the people who put that bumper sticker up really don't mean question authority. They mean defy authority. I'm all for questioning authority. It's a very healthy thing. Your children, I think, can question you. They just have to know that your answer is the final answer. And sometimes you should change your mind if, in fact, there is a good argument. But that ends it. Okay, 1-8-PRAGER-776, Salinas, California. Danny. Hi, Danny. Dennis Prager.
How you doing, Hello, Mr. Prager?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
I've been listening to you for a long time, and one of my greatest accomplishments is getting my daughters to listen to you.
Oh, that's terrific. How old is she?
Well, I have 4 daughters.
Oh, my God. You have any sons? You have any sons?
All, grown up, except one 12-year-old at home.
So which one did you get to listen?
My oldest.
So
and the other ones listen periodically, but my oldest is the one that...
well, I'm delighted.
She's a mom. She's made me a grandfather, so she's really appreciated many of the topics you've had in your program.
Wonderful. All right, go ahead, my friend.
Well, several years ago, I guess last time the Cincinnati Reds won the World Series, the following year they came to visit San Francisco, and I took my kids. And my oldest daughter, she was about 9 at that time. We got there early to watch batting practice, and when the balls were being shagged by the catcher at the time, who was the starting catcher, the kids would go crazy and start calling him by his first name. And I remember that I began to call him by his last name, but I always begin with Mr. I can't remember his name, but it immediately caught his attention, and he threw the ball in my direction, which my daughter got really excited, and she grabbed my arm, and we missed the ball. And so I said, well, it was a great try. She just looked at me, and she was saying, oh, Daddy. Well, the next ball that got hit to him, he came around, grabbed the ball, opened up the back door of the back there where the fence, I guess the home run fence is, walked around up to the bleachers and handed me the ball.
No kidding.
In front of my daughter, yeah, and he signed it too, and it was a great lesson for my daughters.
When Barry Bonds hits his...
no matter what, I was older than that catcher too.
When Barry Bonds hits another home run, what you do is, Mr. Bonds, Mr. Bonds.
You know what? That's all it takes. Everybody wants a little bit of respect.
Yes, very good. Thank you very much, Danny. That's true. It doesn't happen much. Folks, I want you to ask yourselves this question. What do you recognize as authorities over yourself? Everybody will say the government, except anarchists. Can you name another one? Police? That's a hand of an arm of the government. But it's very interesting. Kids should be asked this question, and adults should be asked this question. Okay, and let's go to Glendale, Arizona, and Jack. Hello, Jack. Dennis Prager.
Yeah, that's me, Jack in Glendale. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Mr. Prager, thank you very much for taking my call.
Thank you. Notice how it's all become Mr. Prager this hour, Alan? Have you noticed that? It's very cute.
Well, no, I'm from old school. I do that anyway. But you are, I tell you, one of the few public figures that I really respect so deeply.
Thank you. I try to earn that. Thank you.
Yes, sir, you do. Anyway, what I was wanting to talk to you about is an insight, if I may be so bold as to say, as I told your screener, about this idea of authority and how the left always accuses the right of wanting to force our values on them, and what authority do you have? How dare you, and all this. And it confuses us because we feel like, wait a minute, we're not trying to force our values on you. You're trying to force your values on us. And I realize that it's not that they feel we're telling them what to do, even though they say that. They don't even know that. They don't even understand their own minds. What they're objecting to is us telling them what not to do. That's why they want to take the 10 Commandments. That it says, "Thou shalt not, thou shalt not."
Well, let me intervene for a moment here, Jack, and thank you for your call. I think we need to all be very, very honest on this. I think we need to be very honest on every issue. The right wants many of its values imposed, and the left wants many of its values imposed. I mean, that's just the way it is. And it's perfectly understandable. People want their values imposed. The idea that I am a politician and I have a value, but I don't want the society to live by that value is a little absurd to me. I don't even understand that. Imagine someone in the Democratic Party. Look, I personally think that racism is wrong, but I have no desire to impose on the society my belief that racism is wrong. You're perfectly free to run a racist restaurant. If you don't want blacks in your restaurant, go ahead. That would not be said. The left imposes values all the time. The right imposes values all the time. And I think there are more imposed from the left, but they both impose. And that's perfectly legitimate. That's exactly what we don't want is necessarily personal religious ones. When Catholics tended not to eat meat on Fridays, a Catholic politician who banned meat restaurants on Fridays, obviously that would be over the line. But that's not an issue. We'll be back in a moment. Final segment here of the Ultimate Issues Hour. I hope you've taken this in because this is the great dividing line in the civil war of our country. This is the great determiner of how a civilization will proceed. This is the Ultimate Issues Hour each week. This one has been devoted to authority. And the breakdown and the vehemence of the attacks on authority, parental, teacher, God, religion, texts. The breakdown of these authorities has resulted in the society we have today. You may like the breakdown, you may not like it, but you have to acknowledge that that's what has happened. There are many reasons for it. One is that there is a natural human proclivity to hating authority. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me I'm right or wrong. Right? That's the natural human inclination. I am my own authority. Have a nice day. That's what moral relativism is. What's right for me is right for me, and what's right for you is right for you. There's no moral authority over any of us. To which the religious person answers, or at least the religious one steeped in the religions of America and some other places, it has been that there is a God who says, thou shalt and thou shalt not. That's why the Ten Commandments is such a huge issue. To me, it all boils down to the Ten Commandments, not because there aren't other commandments, but because that is the statement of there is an authority or not in your life that is higher than you. The great dividing line is that question. But if the Ten Commandments are just suggestions of an archaic system, written all by men with no authority over anybody else, then that's a very different view. But I will tell you that putting the religion part aside, the breakdown of parental authority and the breakdown of teacher authority is a major, these are major factors in the chaos in which we live. Why children are out of control, and they know it. And while they seem to love it, they don't thrive on it. They're not happier, they're not healthier, and they don't grow up into better adults. Kids need love is all we have heard, and that is true, kids need love. But I'm coming around to the belief that kids may need authority even more than they need love. And that was a long time coming in my own realization in life. It always amazes me that no matter how many years I live, I keep learning huge lessons. I thought in my 20s that I had learned all the huge lessons there were to learn, and that I'll learn little lessons from then on. That was a big mistake, which is good for you and good for me. Otherwise, my show wouldn't have much to teach you, would it? This is the Ultimate Issues Hour on the Dennis Prager Show.
Tomorrow on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager.
Why do I do this every week? I do this every week because happy people make the world better.
Join us tomorrow to hear more on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. This has been Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. Visit DennisPrager.com for thousands of hours of Dennis's lectures, courses, and classic radio programs, and to purchase Dennis Prager's Rational Bibles.
Is losing weight getting harder as you get older? It's not your fault. You're eating better, you're moving more, but your body isn't responding anymore. At PhD Weight Loss, they help people identify what's actually blocking fat loss and help increase your lifespan. If you want to understand why your body isn't cooperating, call PhD Weight Loss now and book your consultation at 864-644-1900. Mention Dennis Prager and you get 2 weeks free in the program, and they'll pay for your food. That's a $1,500 value absolutely free. Call 864-644-1900.